Welcome everyone to Over and Back, the happy hour edition. I think is what we'll call this one. Friday night. It is 8 o'clock. We've just been talking for 45 minutes offline and not recorded any of it specifically on purpose, for a good reason. We're going to talk about, we're going to recap the boys' games last night. We'll preview the games tomorrow. If we've got time, Siebert, DePouw, you guys want to get into the CGL draft from Tuesday. Welcome back, Coach Kellett. Coach Kellett is back in the building after ditching us the last two times. Kellett's back. Kellett, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I blame Siebert for that because I showed up the one time and he didn't show up.
That is true. That is true. Actually, that was a blessing in disguise for reasons we don't need to talk about. Let's go left to right again. D1 to D2. Marshfield Kaukauna recap. Marshfield wins. They win by 3, 4?
3.
Chris Pohl goes out with like 3 fouls with like 14 minutes left in the game, or in the first half. They play the entire first half essentially without Chris Pohl. And I think they're leading at halftime, right? They were leading at halftime. Amazing first half. Lots of threes going up, per usual. Siebert turned his camera off. Who wants to talk next?
No, Marshfield played really well, man. Landon Lee was ultra aggressive and played, probably one of the best games that I've seen. And, to beat a team that's talented as Kaukauna, you need, 2, 3 guys to step up. And, Hinson just controls everything. Such a, phenomenal high school basketball player. And Paul came in and did his thing in the second half, but they just needed to stretch the zone. And, Lee had it going for a while, went cold and then got cold again. But, Marshfield's talented, man. They had a kid who I didn't even, never heard of that went baseline, tried dunking, got fouled, and I never even knew who that kid was. So they got a lot of talent. They're very well coached, and getting over seeing that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll say this. That was a very well played offensive game on both ends. Like Marshfield, the ability to, Kaukauna played that like 1-2-2 zone, and they didn't seem phased by it at all. Their interior players did a great job of not getting rattled when they caught the ball inside against O'Neill and Jensen and kicking it back out. Henson knocked down threes. Landon Lee played fantastic. It was they ultimately played their game better than Kaukauna scored the ball efficiently offensively. I don't know the statistics if they were what their points per possession were and whatnot, but Marshfield, well done. The Wisconsin Valley got that one, and Marshfield played a good game, and they're a worthy 1 seed heading into sectional final.
Siebert, I was going to say, Siebert, you brought up last week about how the threes attempted was the main key to this game. I just, the box score's not up, so I don't know. It sure looked like Marshfield got enough threes up, which is, obviously why they probably won the game, part of it.
Yeah, threes attempted, Landon Lee. I think that they're hard to beat when he's in the mid to upper 20s, and definitely got a bunch of good threes up. So I think that, speaks to why they're getting a chance at Nina here.
I think Marshfield. Sorry, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, sitting in the 1-2-2 and sometimes 1-3-1. They kind of give up threes too. At the same time, because they played us the first game and kind of gave us that same speed. And we hit a bunch of threes at their place, and the second time we played them, they went man, which kind of surprised us a little bit and kind of chased us off the 3-point line. So I was kind of surprised they didn't do more of that, especially with the length that they have. The rim with O'Neill and Jensen, but Lee can shoot it, Henson can shoot it, and Paul can shoot it. So Marshfield's got a lot of offensive ability.
I think the one thing that Marshfield actually, I know there's plenty of teams that probably do this, but I think they're comfortable playing either way. Like, I think if they can play, and if they want to play, that's why they can come in tomorrow. They're going to play Nina, and it's going to be ideally a low scoring game, which they're probably comfortable with. And then they can play against Kaukauna, who wants to score in the 90s, and they're completely comfortable playing that way too. Like, there was a lot of moments of that game last night that it was like up and down, and they were just launching threes. And I don't think that's the one thing I like about Marshfield is they can adapt to either or. So it's not like tomorrow is going to be a shock to them at all. Like, they can play Nina's game if they want to play Nina's game, and they can also try to speed them up and be successful too.
I'll say this, like that's the value of shooting. Like it's the most obvious, most important skill, and it's not like earth-shattering analysis here that hey, if you can shoot the ball, you can win. But like the ability to shoot transfers across, like if you want to play a grind game, okay, if I can make outside shots, then I can win a grind game. If I want to play an up and down game, if I can hit outside shots, I can win that type of game. And that's where Brooks Henson, Landon Lee, Chris Paul, like those guys that can hit, like if you have 3-4 guys that can hit 5 threes in a game, it really makes you dangerous in the especially in a 1-game tournament setting. And good on Marshfield, and they obviously had multiple dudes step up big time against Kaukauna the other day. But that's the value of outside shooting, and that's the most important skill in basketball.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, but related to guard play. You know, they got 2 legit college guards. You got guards that are comfortable running up and down the floor or comfortable handling ball pressure out of half court and slowing the game down. So they can definitely play a variety of styles, and they're really good defensively. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that have, I mean, they've held a bunch of teams in the 40s this year and in the 30s as well. So they no problem playing a grinder game.
All right, well, let's move to the grinder game. Grinder game would be Nina Stevens Point. This could have been in the 40s, 50. I mean, it ended up being 68 to something. It was tight for most of the game, and then I mean, we talked a little bit before, but you know, Stevens Point was up like I think it was like 30 to 23. Yeah, okay, so it was 26 to 23 at half. Stevens Point was up, and then I believe they were up 30 to 23, and then Nina outscored them by 21 in the second half.
Luke Young, I don't know if he gets enough credit for how valuable he is, just because I don't know if he didn't play enough games, whatever it is, but it just feels like every time I turn on a Nina game, he's laying the ball in and guarding the other team's best player, yet not getting any praise or love. But it's just a good high school basketball player, and Nina's just filled with dudes like that. And, you know, Death, Taxes, and Lee Rubbis in March.
No, Nina is they're the most disciplined team. And they're a death by 100 paper cuts, and they just work you to death, and they wait for you to make the mistake. And you know, no team wants to defend very long, and if you're not locked in for the entire possession, they're going to make you pay. And you know, Luke Young, I think he missed the first 6 or 7 games. Their record with him is outstanding. He's a 6'3", 6'4", you know, kind of a post who does every single thing you want but shoot. And he just plays so hard that everybody else has to, you know, pick up their game. And he's, you know, my coaching staff, we had a player like that just can, you know, raise the level of competition, just, you know, how hard we play. You know, that's kind of what we were missing as a team. And, you know, he doesn't score a ton for them, but he gets a lot of love from our league for sure, just of how hard he plays. And he's their best defender for sure. And he's just a tough, hard-nosed football kid. His dad's a football coach. You know, but not a great shooter. I know he hit a 3 versus Siebert Point, I'm pretty sure. But you know, I know Rubbis doesn't want him shooting too many of those.
He had 2 of them.
Yeah, Rubbis don't want him shooting a whole lot many of those. I don't care what he says, but he does everything you want. He's a winner, and if he's on your team as a coach, he's got to be a coach's dream because he plays so hard, takes the best player, gets on the floor, makes the right plays, and he gets so many rebounds that he should not get. And that's the most frustrating thing as an opposing coach. You see guys have him sealed off and he'll still get the rebound, or if there's a loose ball and he just beats everybody to it and just makes winning plays. And combine that with Corso and Wunderlich and Jansen and Schultz, you got a winning formula. And it'll be an interesting game with Marshfield for sure.
I do want to say I really like this Spash team, and they're not going anywhere. You know, this is one of the first years where they've had the kind of statewide success that they had this year, but they're going to be right back next year too. Would not be surprised to see this team preseason top 10 next year.
Luke Young had 23 points, by the way. 2 for 2 from 3. 23 points last night.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the depth of the FVA. Like, you know, I'm sure he gets a lot of love in the FVA, but the kid that nobody outside your league really knows who he is.
Moving on to the top half, or the top right half. Probably the game of the night. I would say the game of the night. DePouw Arrowhead. DePouw squeaks it out. Pulls it out. this, I don't even, this was an amazing game for many reasons, but DePouw could have easily lost this game. This was, I don't know if this was a gut check time for DePouw or will be, we almost got caught. We got to, now we're waking up and we're ready to play. But this was all right. Game of the night, probably was what you guys were all watching. Was this the game of the night?
For
Definitely.
sure.
No, props to Homestead. They had an
Yeah.
awesome year. Awesome, senior class. Tim Franks had an awesome year. Props to the North Shore Conference. It was up this year and prepared them for this game. This was definitely the game of the year or game of the night. And DePouw is definitely feeling good to keep on playing. We thought that they were going to get good games in the sectional, and they got another one here on Saturday. With Arrowhead.
I'm waiting for DePouw to talk, and he's just.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
On
No,
He was the most fired up beforehand.
I was, I was just, seeing where we're going with that. But no, I think Arrowhead's going to give them a game. Obviously, I said the other day, DePouw, the king stays the king is until there's other information. And Homestead had him though. Homestead played a fantastic game. Homestead guarded exceptionally well. Homestead's young guys showed up. Homestead spread DePouw out and made them guard all 94 feet of the court, and really they played a fantastic game. And they didn't come out on top, and we can talk about all the reasons why at some point. But Arrowhead's really good, and Jace Gilbert inside is going to give Hornseth a hard time. Bennett Basic is not going to back down from Zach Kinziger. Those other guys are good shooters. They have a good system. They have a good coach, Lawrence alum. Shout out Hazy. I think that's going to be a really good game. I feel like statewide, it's a foregone conclusion that DePouw survived this one and they're going to automatically win the next one. But I think Arrowhead's going to fight. Arrowhead's going to believe they can win. And I think that's going to be a really good basketball game. And that's probably at least like rankings wise or power ranking rosters wise, like probably the two most talented teams in the state. And I think it's going to be a really, 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 really good basketball game.
DePouw, we're supposed to be recapping the games and we're going to preview tomorrow's games later in the segment. You're just jumping the gun here.
Yeah, I think one thing about this game, like a lot of the, there's a lot of plays obviously down the stretch, but I think a forgotten play. I mean, Kinzinger is such a winner. Like Hornseth obviously does a lot of good things, and DePouw is so deep, but even when Homestead had that 2-point lead at the end of regulation, they frankly played perfect defense on that last possession, and Kinzinger made a ridiculous shot on the baseline.
Yes.
To tie it, and that's a shot that's completely forgotten the next day. But like that was an unbelievable shot and great defense. And just the amount of winning plays he made down the stretch.
The only thing that at the end of regulation, we talk about shot clock all the time as coaches, and for DePouw to have, I think they were up 2 or 4 at the time with 4:30 left, and they sat on the ball till 2 minutes, and they were running offense. Don't get me wrong, they were moving around, but it was not to score. And they had guys, like Dombrowski had open looks, and he was passing it up, and I've watched him play enough to know. That's not him. I just, those are the, kind of moments I wish we had a shot clock, because you have 2 high-level teams playing. It would have been really interesting. And, Depp, you said it best, man. I honestly think Homestead gave him the blueprint to spread them out. I mean, Franks got to the rim better than I thought he would. And, Homestead had multiple chances to put that away. And it's one of those games, unfortunately, where yes, DePouw won it, but Homestead probably lost it more than DePouw won it with, the turnovers and, late and the foul at midcourt. And then obviously the missed layup, which is awful. But I will say this, for Polite and some of those guys to go over to him, that's probably the one thing that I'll remember in years to come is the fact that that missed layup happened and those guys ran over there and, picked him up, and obviously he tweeted and stuff, and that stuff's awesome. It made me a Polite fan forever, and I messaged Coach Kreider, said that comes from the top down. The coaches like that, the players will follow suit, and just a compliment to those guys because they played as an awesome game, man, and it stunk that someone had to lose, and it is what it is. But shout out to Polite for picking up his teammate and just being a leader, man, because you don't see a lot of that in today's day and age.
Success leaves clues, and the way they responded to that adversity, that program, they'll be back next year. Another team that'll be ranked preseason and be as good as anybody, and that game will fuel kind of their whole offseason, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was when I watched it happen last night, I was kind of watching the other kids in the court and just to see, and I was like, it was impressive to watch. Like, they're kids, right? They're 17, 18, 16-year-old kid. Like, they're kids. I don't care, 18, you're still a kid. Like, you're a kid. So I thought that was awesome. Same, just to echo what you're saying, Kellett, is like, I thought it was really cool to see those guys like just kind of rally around it. And as we all know, and you guys know it for sure as coaches, like, one play does not win or lose a game. Like that, there's so many things that happened before that maybe you shouldn't have been in that position or whatever. It's not like there's just a million things that go into winning and losing a game. And that's, it sucks. It sucks. Like, I can't imagine it. It was amazing to watch. Like, it's just one of the most amazing endings of a game that I've seen. I talk about it all the time. My child has been an amazing ending of a game. It's not fun. You bounce back, and it's kind of how you react. But it was good to see Homestead kind of the reaction to everything and how they how they handled it.
Sorry for interrupting, Sam.
No, you're good.
I want to get on the record, and I shouldn't say stuff like this probably on this podcast, but Sheboygan South, your baseline is the most confusing court I've ever looked at. It looks on film like the court, the hoop is out of bounds. I can't tell where the court starts and it stops. Sheboygan South, it looks like you guys got one of the nicest gyms in the state and a nice floor. I think it needs to be repainted though.
Okay. It's a large baseline. It is a large painted baseline.
For some reason, I found the game hard to watch. I don't know why. I had all these screens up, and my eyes kept drawing to the baseline of this one side screen. But yeah, it's massive.
But anyways, to summarize, Coach Kreider, I thought to myself, should I invite Sean onto the podcast tonight? And I'm like, let's give him some time. I texted him. Obviously had a great season. Great team. It sucks that these guys,
Wait, so you wanted to give him time and now you did text him?
No, I texted him not to be on. I texted him, just said,
Okay.
Hey, rough, tough loss, whatever, great season, whatever. No, I didn't say, come on now. No, I did not do that.
You just texted him now.
No, I texted him earlier. Sorry. I texted
Hey, we're
him
rolling, talking about
him before. You want to come on and talk about the game? No, I did not. I texted him earlier. We'll give him some time. Now I lost my train of thought.
I'll say this. We all understand that culture is the most important thing, more than talent, more than scheme, more than anything. And to have a place where Trevor Polite, who is a fantastic Division I basketball player, goes up after that moment and immediately puts his arm around the kid and says, like, I don't know what he said, but obviously it was I assume it was a good moment. Like, that is really, really cool. And we all talk about culture. We care about culture more than anything we do. That is a great moment a terrible moment for Homestead in the standpoint of, they had an opportunity to win a sectional game and move on to potentially play for the state berth, but a unbelievable moment for a kid to recognize the opportunity there to be a leader and to step in and put his arm around the guy was super cool at Polite, and I'll be a fan for life because of that.
All right, let's move on. Arrowhead, Germantown. Pretty I think it was a pretty I'm just trying to find the score here. 79-65. I watched it, or I put it on here and there, but it was Arrowhead was always up like close to 10. So did you any of you guys watch this game at all or no? Arrowhead's tough, right? Arrowhead's gonna be tough, which is crazy because they lost some good players from last year.
I watched less of this than any other game, to be honest.
I caught some of the replay. Arrowhead's good, man. They run the dribble drive. They get good shots. They get like, one of the like tell points on if a team is good or not is the type of shots they get. And I feel like Arrowhead gets the same shots no matter who they're playing. Like they get the rim finishes. Like if they're way better than the team, they're uncontested. If they're against a better team, they're like semi-contested, or they get kick out threes, and they get those good shots. And for that reason, like they're very alive against DePouw because they run that system very well. They space well. They have multiple guys that can shoot the ball well. They play good.
No, I agree. I think they're you got a good game there Saturday. And I mean Bennett's big for a guy like Zach. He hasn't guarded a dude that can really score in the lane like that. And then, like we've said, those Division I big guys, the guys they don't want to play as a football dude. I think that's an interesting game on Saturday. Obviously the whole state narrative of DePouw escaped on Thursday. They're gonna have a great day of practice, blah blah blah. That's what's gonna make Saturday a great game. Is you're gonna get an A shot from Arrowhead, who's not going to be afraid and has played at state multiple times in the last 5 to 10 years, and a DePouw team that's going to give their best shot. People could argue there's your state championship.
Yep.
Yeah, and speaking of Germantown, they played Oshkosh North the game before, and I watched a little bit of that. They could not have played. They beat them, I think, by 30-ish, somewhere in there. They could not have played any better. And my assistants were kind of talking to me a little bit about it, saying, I think they peaked a little too early, but at the same time, Arrowhead's so talented. They've always got talent. They're kind of, I compare them to like the Kimberly or the Fox Valley. They just always just reload. So it'll be a good game with DePouw. I know they have battles in the summer at the Bachelor camp and things like that. But, DePouw's got to figure some things out offensively. I thought Homestead defensively really took them out of their game. And, like I said, I just wish there was a shot clock. Two really good teams couldn't have minute plus ball possessions of just grinding it out. It should be a shot clock, but it is what it is. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, props to that Germantown class of 2024, and that one of my favorite types of high school teams, just like a bunch of Division III dudes that are under the radar that aren't known who they are. I think they got 4 or 5 dudes going to different Division III schools. Good luck at the next level. You guys had a awesome senior season. Just kind of ran into a buzzsaw, obviously.
They all play the right way too, which
Yeah,
is
they
fun
do.
to watch.
I like that team.
All right, sectionals 3 and 4. So Marquette beats Racine Case, probably no surprise. Kettle Moraine beats Beloit Memorial. Janesville Craig, this is Siebert's territory.
I watched a lot of the Kettle game. Obviously, they just beat us. And I would say Beloit played really well. Props to Coach Marks. Same thing DePouw said the last podcast, so he kind of got my attention. I wanted to watch their team play. I liked how they played and the way they went at Kettle. I knew they had a guard. Amari Hereford's really good as any guard. He's a sophomore. He will be a name that people know, but they had an older big guy, Jarrell Cousins, played really well. But just Kettle just kettled, a little bit too much, a little bit like we said about our sectional. They just got a little bit more than the rest, I think. But my Cougars from Janesville Craig, I love that team. Been talking about them since they beat us in the summer a million times. They shoot it and they make the right decision on penetration. And they screen well. They're kind of like what we just said with Germantown, and that they got a bunch of seniors that are capable of, that are going to play at the next level. Craig's the same type of team. Bunch of good, competitive, big, well-sized seniors that can shoot it, play the game the right way, and are capable of playing at the next level. I really like that team. I think it's going to be an underrated game on Saturday. I know it's a 1 versus 7, but it's not that type of matchup.
Don't pull a DePouw and start prepping the game. We're going to preview the game in a little bit. We're not
cool.
previewing matchups yet.
My bad.
I'm gonna say this. I'll say this though, but like what Coach Siebert just brought up about, like, if you have guys that can just play basketball in playoff games, especially where you're gonna get short prep weeks, the Friday Saturday format, the like different styles, whatnot. If you can just play, and it's a fine line because you want to play open gym. You don't want to play open gym ball in the playoff game. You're going to lose because it's too intense, too physical. But you have to be able to draw that line between we're like a system team versus we can play against anyone. We just make the right decision. We move the rock. We shoot it when we're open. We pass it when we're not. We guard the right guys and whatnot. And Craig has been that kind of team all season, and that's made them competitive against some of the best teams. It's made them possibly lose to maybe teams that they're more talented than. But I think that kind of basketball wins in March. And I don't want to refer back to make this a Nina love fest, but Nina runs motion offense, plays man-to-man defense. They move the ball very well offensively. They're well coached. They guard all that stuff. And like, if we look at the final 8 teams left, it's a consistent kind of mix of either elite talent, which, you get what you get at the high school level. If you have elite talent, then that's, fantastic. Good for you. If not, it's, teams that are very, very structured, very, very balanced, move the ball, share it, not crazy in any respect, either tempo or defensively or whatnot. And that's kind of a consistent theme here.
I agree. The teams that win in March are the teams that can score and get stops while their coach is just sitting on the bench, not saying anything because their players can't hear you on the court anyway.
Feels like that was a shot at someone. Marquette.
No, I was gonna take a shot at him. I would just tell him to scrunch his pants down to his shoes.
I'm not the loudest coach.
No,
Rubbish is louder than me. I can tell you that. I hear Rubbish from my couch when they're playing loud.
Yeah, those guys know how to play.
We should we've talked about this offline, Siebert. If there's a way to monetize the podcast, can we monetize it so we can get Kellett a new computer so that his audio is always his audio just I don't know what we're gonna do, Kellett.
I'm sorry.
Or I could get a dog walker while I'm trying to do this.
Is that why you keep putting your camera off? Is because you're dealing with your dog or what?
Yep.
You don't leave the camera on. That's people like that. People enjoy. People who are watching on YouTube would like to see that. Yeah, makes you feel like a human, not like a total prick.
He's getting after me. Howie, you're coming after the content right now. Did you watch the games on Thursday? He's got nothing.
I'm just amazed at like DePouw's total shift change once he started.
And Kellett froze.
Kellett needs a new computer.
Maybe it might be his internet. It actually might be his internet.
Guy was trying to come at me of all people.
And it was great. It paused right at the worst time too, because I knew exactly what he was going to say. All right. Is there any? Apparently, Siebert's up to DePouw, me and you. Any surprise? Marquette over Racine Case, and then West Dallas Central over Hamilton. Thoughts?
I did not see the Hamilton versus West Dallas Central WAC game, but we talked about it in the preview that WAC was probably trying to grind a little bit. I'm guessing. It's literally just a guess because I didn't see it. I don't have NFHS anymore after the season ended. So I think that WAC. They run a lot of sets. They probably slowed the tempo, got the ball to Max Jones, an incredible freshman, going to be already a good player, going to be a fantastic player moving forward. And I don't know what they do against Marquette because Marquette's just tempo and ability to speed you up is tough, but great win over Hamilton. And 3 Woodland West teams in the final 8 of state is a pretty impressive accomplishment for the league.
All right. Let's move to D2. I don't know what we want to say about the because we probably don't know a whole lot, right? So River Falls beats Wausau East. West Salem, DePauw's favorite team of all teams. If West Salem had a head coaching job open, DePauw would leave Greenfield immediately to go to West Salem, and he'd be like, "I'm going to shoot more threes. We're going to shoot 60 threes a game." West Salem wins as well. Any thoughts on those two games? Did you guys watch any of those games at all or no?
I watched a
some
little.
River
I
Falls.
watched a little bit. You can go.
I like River Falls. It was a close game till like parts of the way through the second half. I was watching because I wanted to see. I don't know. Can't say I had a great takeaway. But I was impressed by River Falls, and like we talked about a little bit last week with the FVA going into that sectional. I just like teams in D2 sectionals that play in D1 leagues. And River Falls has played a ton of D1 teams all year. So West Salem, kind of on the opposite side of the coin, obviously. DePouw, my favorite team in the state. We love the way they play. We're all in on the style of play, but any Cooley, it'd be a great win for a Cooley conference team to beat any Big River school. So that's gonna be a fun one. Looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, the FEL win for West Salem. I know they beat New London by I think about 10 or 11, which was a good game the whole time. And New London is kind of a slow it down, drag it out, grind it out team. FEL's really well coached. Jay Wendland does a really good job. We scrimmage them every year. They have some players. They're real talented. They run really good offense, and I'm just assuming I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I watched a little bit of it. They just couldn't guard as well as they wanted to. But beating FEL, I mean, they had 20 plus wins. They just run good stuff. So yeah, no, it's Wausau East too, got a chance to see them this summer. They're talented. They're really well coached. They're also kind of a slow it, grinded out team as well. And I just think the Big Rivers is probably a little bit more talented than the Valley. The Valley is top heavy. They've got the two teams that were ranked in the top 10, and then Wausau East is very talented. And then after that, kind of a big drop off. But the Rivers has a lot of teams that you just have to play well to beat. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting. West Salem is definitely fun to watch. Probably not as excited about them as Ryan DePouw is, but
Yeah, let's go, baby. The West Salem Panthers, we're lighting it up. We'll get up 35, 40 of them. If we're open, we're shooting it. If we're not, we're passing it, and the next guy's shooting it. I'm a fan. I've been a fan. I always will be a fan. And I think Henderson's a fantastic playmaker, Tamara Henderson. And they run a good system, run a good scheme, and I am as big of a West Salem fan in Southeast Wisconsin as there is. And let's get this done on Saturday and get to state.
All right, sectional two blowouts. Schwabenon beats Plymouth, and Nicolay beats Cedarburg. Do we need to touch on this at all? Not surprising, either of those.
This kind of reminded me. If you're gonna bring us on the podcast and force us to make picks, how do we do?
Oh, I
know you're writing it. I know you're writing that down.
I have it written down. It's yes, you've I think you've won every pick so far, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's
yeah,
why
you haven't got one wrong.
That reminded me. I have a couple sectional final picks that are with my heart and not my head, though. So
yeah, no, you've got all your picks right. That's fine. So the answer is no. We don't need to go over the Schwabenon Nicolay. We'll preview a Schwabenon Nicolay in a little bit. Pewaukee. It was close in the first half, I think, right? Like I think DePauw, you were giving us the updates. Pewaukee was down by Tosa right away.
It was
10 right away.
Okay.
Yeah, 22-14, and then Pewaukee'd them.
I saw that from your boy Papa Hansen tweeted it out. I think saw his tweets about the game.
Okay.
I honestly want to know where our predictions were, just so I can have an apology session to all the coaches that we wronged. but
You didn't wrong anyone yet. And then Stoughton and Mount Horeb in a really good game.
yeah, good game.
Really good game. Stoughton pulls it out. That was another game. I kind of had an eye on it. Did you guys, any of you guys actually watch much of it or no?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit. Stoughton just like Stoughton's got really, really, really good shot making for a high school team. They're big and strong and smart, but then they have three guards that can make shots that like most high school teams don't even think about taking. Similar to like in the way Pewaukee, Janowski just makes shots. Stoughton's got three guys that make shots all on like a smaller level than Janowski. But Fernholtz obviously is really, really, really good. But I love Stoughton. They pulled off to a good start. Mount Horeb then kind of went on a, Manchester went crazy, and it was a typical Mount Horeb, type showing. But came down to the end. Mount Horeb had a good look to tie it. Nick Vorwald had a really, really good senior year, good look to tie it. He's going to be a good player at Platteville. That's kind of under the radar. He's known well in our league, but I don't know if he's known well outside of the league. Really good player, good kid. And but no, Stoughton and Mount Horeb, they're one of those, two good teams that played the 3 one-possession games this year. So Mount Horeb deserves a lot of praise and credit for going toe-to-toe with a team that I think is as good as any team that's been in the Badgers since I've been here. But at the same time, I think Stoughton's a tier above the rest of our league. Mount Horeb was able to play with them. But Stoughton, yeah, I'm not supposed to preview Saturday yet, but that's the game that I'm going to be tuned into for sure.
And then Lutheran handles Pius, no problem. That game was over really, really quick. And then Racine Park and Bradley Tech tried to imitate an AAU game by wearing both dark jerseys. And Racine Park beats Bradley Tech. Anything to touch on with those two games before we start previewing?
Wisco is going to be tough to beat on Saturday. Is my take.
What did I just tell you, DePouw? I said before we start previewing. All right, let's preview. Let's preview. Let's go back to D1. Marshfield, Nina. We're gonna do the same thing we did last week. I want to know, as you three coaches, Cal, this is mainly for you because you have played. Did you play Marshfield this year? Or you didn't play Marshfield this year, did you?
DePouw saying Wisconsin Lutheran is going to be tough to beat, like froze my computer because I was the
Hot take.
Yeah.
Hot take. Hot take. Okay, you didn't play Marshfield this year. You played them last year in the playoffs, correct? Okay.
Correct.
But you played Nina twice. Nina hammered Marshfield at the beginning of the year. Still the most insane game I have not yet wrapped my head around. Anyways, same questions for you three. If you're Marshfield, how do you beat Nina? If you're Nina, how do you beat Marshfield? What are the game plans for these coaches?
What kills me is we played Nina on our senior night, and I played my seniors 15 plus minutes. Couple of them could start on the offensive line or did start on the offensive line for the football team. And we played a kind of a guy that's kind of like our manager. And we inverted box and won them. And when I watch games, no one does it to them. And I don't understand. And if the seating meeting didn't happen and, I would have played, my main guys more, things might have been differently. But we boxed and won them, and they really had a hard time. And when I watch games, it's if you get into Corso, he's so good off the bounce, and he just makes others better. I love Corso's game. I think his game translates the best to college of all the guards in our league. And I watch teams get into him, and he just goes by and makes everybody else better. Where to me, if you take him out of the equation, it's a lot tougher. So it'll be, Marshfield plays a lot of different things. I know what I would do. But Nina's talented. They're disciplined. They've had some time to prepare. Knowing Rubus and Coach Mike Johnson, who's the most analytical dude ever, they've prepped for every possible situation. But Marshfield, I could probably argue, has more talent. They're definitely more offensive ability for sure.
Yep.
You got to keep Wunderlich off his right hand going to the rim, and Jansen's a standstill shooter. Let Young shoot outside of 5-10 feet. Let Dean shoot outside of 5-10 feet. And Schultz is a really good shooter, but isn't as aggressive as I'd like him to be yet. But he's young, so a lot of those things.
I don't know. I like Nina.
Siebert looks confused or
I
like,
like
what?
Nina. I like Nina. Marshfield's good, but I like Nina. I know Young didn't play against Marshfield in that first matchup too, so I'm interested to see if it changes Nina's matchups at all.
Do they need a matchup? I mean, they beat him by like 28 the first time with
I'm
no
just wondering
Young.
if I'm wondering if they match up where they put Young. Do they put Young like is Young capable of
I
face
can already
guarding
tell you
guard?
where Young is going to guard.
He's gonna go
It ain't
pull, right?
hard.
He's gonna
Yeah.
go pull, right?
Oh yeah.
But then where does Jansen go? Because I know Jansen went pull last time.
Jansen will be on the least athletic of the rest of the five, and Corso should have been all defensive team for sure. He's a phenomenal defender. He'll go Hinton is my guess.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I didn't watch their first game, but
Marshfield shot
Nothing.
so bad the first game.
Yeah,
So
that
bad.
game,
Awful.
but Corso is. I mean, people sleep on Corso's defense. He's honestly a top 3 defender in the league, in my opinion. He gambles probably too much, which probably drives Rubbis crazy. But he's so good defensively, and if he's just solid on Hinton, he'll be fine. So
I mean,
I
pull
gotta
at
stick with the FBA though, obviously. But Marshfield's got some talent. If they shoot it well, if you get up on Nina, where they got to get out of their kind of disciplined system, then you're fine. Problem is just getting there.
yeah, the first 8 minutes is huge, for sure. But I know in the last matchup, it looks like Marshfield only made 2 threes, and I think it's another kind of 3 points made is a big stat here. It's similar to Marshfield Kakana, but now this game they don't just have to attempt them; they actually have to make them against Nina. Against Kakana, they just had to get them up, but against Nina now they got to make them. I'm curious how it goes. Pole, it looks like Pole didn't have his best game last time they played.
No one did. No one did.
Oh. Yeah. I'm looking for this is another game that I definitely will want to have on one of the screens, as long as it's not a Sheboygan South.
Well, you can great. The good thing is this game's at 3:00. So you can watch
there
it
we go.
you can watch it all alone.
Perfect.
Kellett, does Rubbis ever play zone much or no?
Nah, he's on his own, dude. He will come out of a timeout, things like that. He's kind of like me, not his own dude. So
DePouw, any thoughts? Are you awake over there?
No, I'm here. I let the FVA guy, Coach Kellett, get after
he
this.
needs another Modelo. Give him a Modelo.
That's not remotely true. No, Marshfield and Nina, it's just gonna be tight. It's gonna be a tight game. Both teams are well coached. Both Marshfield's gonna shoot it well and share it well, and they're gonna be ready to go after last time. They're not gonna, it's not gonna be like the first matchup here, but Nina, like I said last time, it just feels like they're going to be up 6 shooting free throws with 2 minutes to go. That's and against Spash, they're just second half they wore them down. The toughness, the ability to just not turn the ball over literally ever, not make any destructive mistakes. Corso is a fantastic player. I don't even want to call them role players because that feels disingenuous to how good they are at basketball. But they move the ball well. They don't turn it over. They get a shot every possession. They rebound well. I'm taking Nina in this game. And Marshfield's awesome. The guard play and Chris Pohl is a game changer. His left-handed jam the last game when he stole the ball at half court when just crammed it with his left hand was a whoo, man, that was an awesome play. But Nina's pedigree is tough to pick against.
I will say this: if Marshfield picks up and denies full court, Nina will get 4 to 5 layups, which will be too much for them to overcome. For example, when we played Marshall last year in the playoffs, they deny everybody and they kind of get up into you full court. And Siebert and DePouw have coached Grant Hardy. He can throw like a quarterback full court. And Nina's good enough to get some layups out of it too. Where Nina, if you get him in the half court and slow him down, if Corso doesn't have it going, they can struggle a little bit. If Marshfield picks up and all out denies, they'll give up 10 free points. And that's the one thing I don't like about Marshfield is if they do that. Other than that, it'll be a good game. Gotta stick with the FVA guys because I'm an FVA guy, but it's definitely scary from an FVA perspective. So,
well, I'm going against you three because I'm going to pick Coach Fisher, friend of the pod. Marshfield, I'm sticking with my Marshfield pick. I love the ability for them to play anyway. I think that is a huge advantage. However this game goes, they can adjust to it. Fisher can adjust to it. I think Fisher's I guess I don't know this. I don't know what, like, you guys, obviously you guys are coaches, right? So there's people that are known as, like, Rubbis is known essentially as like the best coach in the state, at least one of them, right? I don't know if anyone, Fisher's in Marshfield. I think Fisher's an amazing coach. I think he's got talent, obviously. Like, Hinson's one of the best juniors in the class. Pole's one of the best sophomores in the class. But he's a really, really good coach. Like, when Kimberly played him 2 years ago, when Jameson was a senior, that was a tight fucking game. I think Fisher's a great coach, not just because he's a friend of the pod, but I don't know what you guys all coach, like who's considered good coaches, bad, whatever it is. But I love Fisher's ability to coach in a variety of ways. Like I talked about earlier, like he can play fast, can play slow, can kind of adjust.
No, he's definitely a really good coach. I love the way they play, and they play super hard. And I really respect the way he schedules. And I respect the way his kids love basketball for sure. He's got a good program there for sure. But I think there are a lot of bad coaches out there, and there are a lot of good coaches out there too. One of the ways that I think most high school games, there are more high school games that are lost than there are high school games that are won, believe it or not. And you got two high school teams that don't lose themselves a lot of games in this one with Marshfield and Nina.
All right, so you three got Nina and I got Marshfield. That's where we're at, right?
I would be Nina because they need to be beat. They won't lose it themselves for sure.
Okay, well, Marshfield's going to beat him. That's what I'm going to say. And
They
it would not be an unintentional podcast if I picked Nina to win. Like, what are we doing here?
Exactly. We gotta stay on brand.
As long as Noisy doesn't tweet at you, you're good to go.
Oh my God, there's so many all these burner accounts. I've said it before. All you burner accounts, say who you are.
He's not a random. You know who Noisy is. It's fine. It's not random. But keep next game.
All right, you can tell me after. Maybe I do know. I don't know. All right, game of the weekend, potentially game of the weekend, which DePouw already freaking previewed for fucking 5 minutes. DePouw Arrowhead.
I'm not calling this game of the weekend, even though it should be.
Oh no, you're right. Pewaukee Stoughton might be.
I'm going with my heart for a different game.
I agree. Pewaukee Stoughton might be too. Let's tackle DePouw Arrowhead. Last year's state title is now a sectional final because sectionals change. I think DePouw is going to have a bounce back game after last night. I think it's kind of a wake up call. I think it's going to be close, but your guys' thoughts?
I would love to just watch Bennett Basic and Kinzinger play one-on-one at the park for an hour. That's the matchup that I would just love to. You and I were talking about movie theater popcorn earlier. And I would love a bag of movie theater popcorn and watch those guys go at it because those are two of the best competitors in Wisconsin, leading two of the best teams. I'll have a hard time getting my eyes off of that matchup, to be honest. But excited to watch this one. I would lean to say that DePouw's just got too much, but Arrowhead's got some shooting to go with it. So 3-point line's the ultimate neutralizer, and kind of like Kellett said, Homestead may have shown some things defensively that Arrowhead might be able to unlock to keep this game together. And all you're asking for is a stretch in those or a chance in those last few minutes. How
often do you, as coaches, do you guys always look at so like, is Arrowhead right now totally focusing on what Homestead did last night? Like, is that what they're like? We got to replicate what happened last night.
I think there's definitely part of that, but you got to look at certain teams and see it and ask yourself, could I replicate this? Like
Right.
for example, we, playing Kettle Moraine in the regional final, Muskego played them better than basically any team in their league. So we watched, I mean, other than Arrowhead, probably. So we watched a bunch of Muskego and right away said to ourselves, we don't think we can really replicate this. So I think there's a part of that of what can we take from this team? What can we not take from this team? But I think that in these sectional games, you're gonna so much about these teams and that you're gonna prepare your guys as best you can. Then once 1 o'clock or 7 o'clock hits, whatever it is, the guys are gonna be playing, not be able to hear their coach anyway. So
I think you base it off of playing styles. If a team played them that plays like you, then you take it into consideration. If they don't, then you kind of ignore it. To be honest with you. I talked to like Coach Ford a lot about this. There was one time this year he asked me if I watched their Oshkosh North game, and I'm like, no, Oshkosh North plays 1-3-1, and Xavier is just something that we don't have.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of pointless. But I liked watching Fondy games versus everybody else in our league because they were very similar to us. So it's all about playing styles and who plays like you, and just kind of taking bits and pieces of those games.
DePouw, you want any more airtime for your DePouw?
My piece has been stated on this one. I think it's gonna be a really good game. I think Arrowhead is, to me, they're scheme proof. They play their game no matter what, especially offensively. So with their dribble drive offense, I feel like they get similar shots no matter who they play against. I think they're going to get similar shots against DePouw, and I think it's going to be a close game. I'm not picking Arrowhead. My pick will come later in this podcast, I'm sure, but I think they're going to get the looks that they want. And I mean, we'll see what happens if you make them, but they run really good stuff. When those elite in DePouw like this, and a lot of these final 8 teams in Division 1 and 2 are like this, in the sense that they get the looks that they want, they get the looks that they practice, and we'll see if they knock them down.
Well, you're going to pick in a little bit here because that's what we're doing. We're predicting, we're previewing games and picking them. So you're going to have to give a second. Is Jace Gilbert going to guard Will Hornseth?
they got multiple guys. They have him in the AJ. I don't want to butcher his last name. AJ Ormond. So there's also 6'7". That I bet they'll both have stretches on Hornseth and both have stretches on Willinghands.
Who's guarding Kinzinger?
I would think Basic.
And is Kinzinger going to guard Basic?
I think they're going to guard each other.
Okay. I would assume the same, but I was just wondering.
I know Basic guards the other team's best guys in most games. I watched Arrowhead a couple times, and I would assume Kinzinger draws the same.
Are you excited to guard Basic in Holy Cross in a few weeks? Or actually, it's going to be DePouw's job, isn't it? You're going to put DePouw on him.
I was going to say, I hope I actually don't have to guard him, but
is he going on spring break during the tournament?
We actually had a sneaky big pickup the other day.
Oh, you want to tell us right now?
I don't know if I want to confirm it, but I think Carrington Love is going to miss the first.
You talked about that Tuesday.
Austin Stick is middlemanning that one. Stick, former champion and Holy Cross all tournament team member.
Yeah, who did he play with that? Who did he play with when he won it?
UW Health.
Did he? Was he on it? Because he used to play with Con, didn't he?
UW Health.
He used to play with Con and those guys' team, right?
Yeah, he got cut and then he was picked up by by UW Health.
And if you just do this, it becomes a U for unintentional.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
You.
Yeah.
All right, picks. DePouw, Arrowhead. What do we got? I'm going DePouw. I mean, we picked DePouw. DePouw for me.
Yeah, if I'm going with my head, I gotta go the same. But like DePauw, I want to echo that. I think this is a closer game, another close game, like DePere Homestead.
I got DePere. They got the best coach on the bench, Brian Pritzel. DePere.
It's DePere. I'm the resident Arrowhead guy right now, but I'm taking DePere. But this is going to be a battle, man. This is going to be 5 with 5 to go. This is going to be tight.
I don't think it's tight, but that's just me.
All right. This is Siebert's preview game. Siebert's gonna have the floor for this one. Kettle Moraine, Janesville, Craig.
Oh, geez. I didn't think you were going. I didn't even think that was the game you were. I thought.
Where was I going to? That's the next one. We're going in order.
I thought
We
we were
thought you were going to
I thought we were
Stoughton.
game of the week. Pewaukee Stoughton.
Nope.
These are two teams I love the way they play. They don't take, kind of like DePouw said, in that, these teams are just hooping. Like their coaches are letting them play at the Princeton Club or whatever you want to say, and there's a lot of shot makers on the floor. Bunch of guys capable of playing at the next level. And two good teams. I know that this is a 1-7 or whatever, but Janesville Craig's as good as anyone in our sectional. And the thing that our sectional had was 2 through 13 was really, really close. This is going to be a competitive game. And honestly, both teams, I don't want to say live and die, because you have two really, really good teams, but both teams use the 3-pointer like really, really well. So I think it's going to come down to who shoots the 3 and who defends the 3 better. And if I was picking with my head, I'd have to say Kettle, but I love these Craig guys, and they're my favorite team to play in the summer. We play them 5 to 10 times every single summer. They play a fun style that, like we said, they're just out there hooping, and that's kind of how I want our guys to play. So I love playing against Craig, and it's going to come down to who makes more threes on Saturday, I think.
Kellett, you got any input at all? Do you know these teams at all?
Kettle Moraine, 10 plus. Next question.
All right. DePouw, what are we doing here?
I was gone.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I'm with the Kettle Moraine pick.
Yeah, I'm picking Kettle Moraine. I'll be honest. I've never seen Janesville Craig play. So I watched last night a little bit. I checked in on him, but I didn't watch enough to even make any kind of guess.
There's similarities to Marshfield here in that they got two college guard, like legit college guards, and a big that is mobile and athletic that can move and guard the paint and shoot. So there's some Marshfield similarities there. This is really going to be a fun game. I'm excited to watch it. I personally think Kettle just has a little bit more like paint scoring. It's funny. Kettle goes to state, brings back this whole team, and now I'm at sectional final, and the guy that in my head that I think is the difference is a French foreign exchange student. But they have a foreign exchange student that he's going to guard some of Janesville Craig's best guys, and we keep talking about the 3-point shooting that's on each team, but this kid from Kettle, he's going to score 6 points in transition. He's going to score 6 points in the paint, and I think those are just kind of between the two rosters. In that Kettle's just got a little bit more athleticism to make plays in transition and kind of score in the paint, defend the paint.
DePouw, you're up.
Kettle, man, a little too much. They we talked about last week, guys that can play are plus on both sides of the ball, are plus offensive players and plus defensive players. And Kettle, every single guy that they're out there is plus on both ends of plus on both ends of the ball, man. They from the obvious guys, Stuckey or Stuckey, and all the way on through. They shoot it, they share it. I think Kettle's beating Craig, and I think Kettle's going to state.
All right, last sectional is Marquette, and as DePauw calls them, whack. Apparently, I didn't Again, we talked about that. I didn't know there was.
Kid
called
that
Back.
comes off the bench for Kettle Moraine, John Kasavich deserves props. Doesn't get any love, but I love his game.
My kids just came up the steps and they're just looking at me like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about?"
We're talking about John.
Yes, we're recording a
Kasavich.
podcast right now.
DePouw even get
Yes. I'm trying to watch the Nina girls game.
DePouw. I'm so proud of you, man.
All right, so we're on to West Dallas Central and Marquette. DePaul, start us off.
I think this is Marquette. I just like Wax got a nice team, super young. Max Jones is fantastic and going to be a fantastic player. Pittman is very big and good scorer inside. Coach Malachnik does a great job in getting those guys. WAC is on a heck of a run from 2018 or 19. I can't remember their first run to state till now. They're on a really, really impressive playoff. Just they're good at playoff basketball, which is really, really cool and really, really impressive. And I don't want to misquote or misrepresent anything, but they've been on a fantastic playoff run for an extended period of time here. But Marquette is, geesh, man. They have Minnesale that can get downhill against anyone. They have Meehan who shoots it. They have Jeremiah Johnson, who's an awesome player on both ends of the ball. They have Kunin, who is fantastic shooting the rock. They know their system. I just think this is Marquette. It's probably always been Marquette in this sectional, and they're going to be tough to beat, barring a really, really kind of outlier performance in terms of Marquette shooting percentage or WAC being able to really control pace and control tempo against Marquette here.
Siebert.
I agree with a lot he said. TJ Adams, another kid from Marquette that's really good, that can really pass, but I just think they have too much. And I think that, similar into what we said about Case and Marquette, this is just a tough. Styles make fights, and this is a tough matchup.
I was just going through. I always like to look at records of all these teams as we get to this point, who's got the most loss. Janesville Craig's got 11 losses, or West Dallas Central's got 11 losses.
They definitely have played better down the stretch here.
Yeah.
But the Woodland West, like Coach DePouw spoke to earlier, and Ryan spoke to earlier, they got 3 teams in the final 8. It was a good league, and the West Dallas Central was under 500 in their league, but half their league is Wisconsin Lutheran, Pius, and Pewaukee.
Yeah.
They've played competitive games all year.
Kellett, anything or no?
Milwaukee, Marquette, 10 or more, done. Next
Yeah.
one.
We all got Marquette. We all got Marquette.
Just in props to West Dallas Central, DePouw, you speak of the run that they're on. That's while opting out of Division II to be a Division I school as well. In that their enrollments in that 1,100 range. So yeah, they're on quite the run. They've had quite the talent run, but also good thing going. Good basketball culture over there.
All right, on to D2. We've got DePauw's West Salem. Is it the Panthers you said? Is it the Panthers?
Panthers, baby. Black and orange.
Okay. Well, I feel like everyone's black and orange nowadays. It's like everyone's red or black and orange. Against River Falls. DePauw, go ahead. DePauw, we'll give you got the floor for your West Salem Panthers.
Let's hit 23s. Let's move on to state, and we'll talk about what's next. But West Salem, give me Henderson's gonna get downhill. We're gonna space the court well. We're gonna knock down some threes, and we'll see you in Madison.
I'll take West Salem. DePauw's convinced me at this point.
Props to West
Team
Salem.
of destiny. Team of destiny.
DePouw speaks to the run West Dallas Central's on. West Salem lost an awesome senior class last year, and just reloads. Good couple classes of talent that they've had, but yeah, See how many threes they can make on Saturday.
All right, we all got West Salem.
I like River Falls. I don't want to rain on the parade, but I like River Falls. I'll take the conference strength, and I'll ride with the Big Rivers.
Okay. Sectional 2 is Schwabana Nicolay. Nicolay, I would assume the favorite, the large favorite. Schwabanon seems to be in this place every year. They play a powerhouse. Everyone thinks that they're going to get throttled, and they play them tight. Like they almost caught Pewaukee, I think it was last year. They almost caught some. Maybe I don't know if it was Pewaukee in the year before that. Like this has been like a Schwabanon's kind of like, MO is that they're counted out. They play a powerhouse and they almost pull it off. This is a similar situation.
No, you spoke to this last podcast. Mark's willing to do anything and will try anything. A lot of size that a Schwabanon can have to potentially defend the paint and make it harder on Davion and Nas to score at the rim and force guys like Bolden and Rashad to make shots. But this will be a different level of ball pressure and athleticism that Schwabanon's used to for sure. But at the same time, this is a game this will be a good game. But I just think Nicolay's got a little bit too much in the sense of kind of like DePouw speaks to it, that I think that their A game is just a little bit too strong. And if they have their A game, that they could be unbeatable out there.
Yeah, I agree, obviously, as you noted here, but Nicolay, when Nicolay is playing their best, it's really, there's very few teams in Wisconsin, definitely less than 5 that can beat them. As Schwabanon has been on an impressive run, like from 2022 with Marcus's team all the way through now. They've been, in all the big games. They played DePouw as competitive as anyone in the Fox Valley, Green Bay region, and they're going to be a game opponent for sure, and they're going to have they're going to have the discipline, they're going to have the skill level to hang in with Nicolay. But it's just like at some point Nicolay is going to go on that 8-0, 10-0 run when Davion's going to steal the ball, when Rashad is going to poke one away, and Bolden is going to make a play. And it's hard to see Schwabanon being able to contend with that. I do think they'll hang in. I do think they'll make it, it'll be a full 36-minute game, but Nicolay has so much top end talent that in basketball where, 5 players are on the court and 5 players on the court the whole game, it's really, really hard to, beat a team that talented.
I like Schwabanon. I got to be honest with you. They're disciplined. They're extremely skilled. They're very well coached. That's why every time they play these teams, they're close games when they probably shouldn't be. And I think this is one more game that's closer than it should be. The difference is, against the Pewaukees of the world, I don't think Nicolay is as disciplined as some of those teams were. And I could see Schwabanon finally pulling through. Tomaszek does a really good job. They got some size, some length, and they just play the game the right way. So I'm if there's one that this game excites me just because they've been so close, and Nicolay isn't as disciplined as some of the teams in the past. So I'm curious to see how that turns out.
I'm curious to see if Kellett can get a new fucking computer.
Dude,
or
I'm
internet.
sorry.
That'd be nice. Your computer needs to be disciplined.
Dude, you got to blame Durafiber for not giving out computers for their workers.
Oh.
Get on the Mike McCarthy plan. I've been on the Mike McCarthy plan since before that guy got fired in Green Bay. And
did you coach for the Pack Attack too?
The Pack Attack! I remember that was awesome. I forgot about the Pack Attack.
I had to sign a waiver to go to practice there one time. It was pretty cool.
Wow. By the way, I'm like, why am I not looking at Massey ratings? Nicolay is only favored by 2.5 over Schwabenon, according to Massey.
Surprised by that.
Kind of surprising.
Noah Schwabenon's got a good team, and their bigs are good. So and they got a ton of them. So
They're skilled.
if they can make Nicolay have to score not at the rim, that'll be a good game.
Give me Nicolay.
Yeah,
I would-
I'm taking Nicolay. Yeah.
I would take
That's
Nicolay.
Schwab.
Yeah. All right. All right. Someone's got to do it. The Siebert game of the week or the day.
I love it.
And I'm not yelling at you. I'm not mad at it. Stoughton, Pewaukee. They played earlier in the year. Stoughton could have easily won. It was what, a 2 or 3 point game, I think. Something, it was very close at the end.
I love Stoughton. I think Nolan Weber is as good a coach as around, and they kind of speak to my heart in that they, all the things that I value in high school basketball, Stoughton does really well. Just one of the best passing IQ teams in that they got a bunch of dudes that can see the floor, which is kind of rare at the high school level, and including, their best player is as good a tough shot maker in the state, Ty Fernholz, but he truly makes the right pass on time always. Similar to K2 in that way, just like a little bit less of the K2 stuff in that he's not quite K2. He's not 6'6", 200, and he's not quite Con, but he plays kind of similar, and Stoughton is kind of Wisconsin Lutheran on the smaller scale. So I'm excited for this one. Stoughton's bigs are great as well. I think Pewaukee around the state, people are talking about the 4-Pete and that they're but this is a state caliber game that could be a state semifinal type game.
Yep.
And I'll be tuned in for sure. If I was picking with my head, I might pick one way, but if I'm picking with my heart, I'm riding with the best team in the Badger Conference for sure. And I think Stoughton will be there at the end and with a chance. And that's kind of all you can ask in a sectional final game. Where is this game? At Watertown too. So
Yep.
Stoughton's played there. They have familiarity with the gym. I don't think that matters at all. In that they both teams will have to travel an hour or whatever. But fun game, great sectional venue. And I'll be tuned in for sure.
Ryan?
Give me Pewaukee, man. Going for the 4-Pete. Nick Janowski in a big game. They navigated a little bit. I think it was good for them against Tosa West to be down 22-14, hit a little adversity. I think that was good for them long term, like to have to fight back. King stays the king. I think, Stoughton's fantastic and, deserves all the praise, as Coach Siebert said in the last expository there. But Pewaukee is, I just feel like this is Pewaukee versus Wisco on a deadline towards the state championship, just like everybody drew it up last summer when the sectionals came out, and when we saw that Pewaukee and Wisco weren't in the same bracket. I feel like this is meant to be, and Nick Janowski is fantastic. I like Pewaukee close. I think Stoughton hangs in there. I think Ty Fernholz is fantastic. I think the whole Stoughton team is fantastic, and Coach Weber does an awesome job. But Pewaukee's ability, just the championship pedigree, is hard to replicate. And I'll take Pewaukee. Give me the Woodland.
Before you guess, Kellett, does anyone want to, before you take your prediction, does anyone want to guess what Massey says?
Pewaukee.
Well, no shit. How many points?
7.
Ooh. 10.
17.
10.
Oh,
Massey has Pewaukee by 10.
you can't beat a Cornhusker. Pewaukee. Sorry, I'm distracted by the Zabel versus Hartford Union game.
Yeah, it's a good game. 48-47 Nina. It's a very good game. I'm taking Pewaukee as well. I think Ty Fernholz is awesome. And I think this could end up easily being the game of the day tomorrow. Could be the best game of the day by far. but I will take Pewaukee. And then the last game is Lutheran, Wisconsin Lutheran against Racine Park. Does Racine Park have a chance?
Bad matchup.
Should we take predictions on what Massey says? I'm checking now.
18.
16.
Well, you guys, okay, someone break it down as I look. I can't just sit here with dead air.
I mean, styles make fights. Wisconsin Lutheran has so many dudes that can handle the ball under pressure. So many dudes that can go by pressure. I think this is a tough one. And Racine Park, obviously we've talked a lot about Duda Robinson before, guard that doesn't get enough praise around the state and that he is really good. But I don't know where they put him. His best attribute is what he can do defensively and turning people over and bothering other teams' top guys. But if I'm being honest, Cantu is too good to be quote unquote bothered. And Cantu is also willing to just make the right willing to score 7 points and dominate the game. So I think this is a tough one for Racine Park. I'd love to see them be able to hang around, but I think Wisco's too good.
15, by the way. Massey says 15.
It's about right.
DePouw, you got anything? I'm gonna look up you talk as I'm gonna look up the Nina Marshfield Massey and the Arrowhead DePere Massey.
I think Wisco's in a good place here. I think Parks had a fantastic season. They guard really well. They run good offense. They set a lot of off-ball staggers away and whatnot. But Wisco is too talented. I think this is Wisco, as we all probably thought before the sectionals were released, and they're a fantastic team. And I think they're the number one seed heading into state in 1 week from now.
So go ahead. Sorry.
I think K2 gets a lot of praise and gets a lot of ink, obviously, and a lot of love. But this is a type of matchup where not only do they have K2, I think that they also have the third and fourth and fifth best player in the game too, probably. I think Wisco is going to be tough for Park.
Yeah.
Are they the Panthers too, DePouw?
Panthers. Another Panthers.
A lot of Panthers.
A lot of Panthers. I think Panthers have to be the most prominently featured mascot in sectional play this year.
Really?
Strong mascot, the Panther.
You're Oregon Panthers, right?
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'. Okay, well, Siebert apparently is 58 years old.
So what do we have? We have
I'll use expository 5 minutes ago.
I don't know what the hell that was.
It's a Lawrence education. Chris Kellett. ripping
I did not get that Lawrence education.
Massey,
if you did, you'd have a new computer by now.
No shit. Massey has Nina by 5 and DePere by 6.
Yeah, that DePere Arrowhead. Like we said, it's going to be close.
But we've also said that Massey's got its favorites. Like they love certain teams.
They love the FBA, but as they should. I laughed at everybody complaining about the seeding formula here. Why don't we if you take a look at Division 2, you're looking at a lot of 1 seeds.
Yeah, it's almost all of its divisions
it's
are like
7
that,
of 8. It's 7 out of 8 1 seeds with 1 2 seed. And Division 1, all 4 1 seeds are available, but you got 1 verse 6, 1 verse 6, 1 verse 7, and 1 verse 2. So I think that the all the complaints about the seeding stuff is so overblown at this point. I hate to harp on this again or get back into this, but to me it's way more about sectional misbalance than it is about seedings.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't say that in front of Coach DePouw because he got screwed more than anybody in the WIA. But we should change the subject.
No, it's a joke, man. Like you should honestly, a team not having more than 1 win over a team with 11 wins in the season should not be ahead of a Kimberly. or an Appleton North. All they have to do to fix it is just have a 30-minute Zoom meeting with all the coaches after the computer sees it. That's it. That's all they have to do to fix it. Problem solved.
Okay, so if you have a Zoom meeting for your sectional 1,
Correct.
what happens? Who appeals first? What happens?
You
wanna
start
say-
from the bottom and work your way up just like we always have. 16,
Okay,
do you
so
want to appeal? No.
So who's the yeah, I know
15.
who's the first
No.
who's the first one to actually appeal? Appleton
Fort-
East does not appeal Wausau West because they don't want to.
If Hortonville was 14, they had two.
Hortonville's not appealing Appleton East because they'd rather play at Superior.
Yeah, but they don't know how it's going to work out.
But you see the seeds before the appeals come out, and it was that way when you had in person too.
No, here's the deal though.
I agree with what you're
if you're
saying.
being
I agree that there should be a human element after the computer, but I just my thing is that the computer isn't as awful as
How in the world do you have a team that finishes 13-10, 2 more conference wins, and swept Appleton East, and they're behind them?
Okay,
Hortonville
so-
swept Appleton East. They finished with 2 more conference wins, and they
won.
finished with 3 more total wins than Appleton East.
You're talking
And
about
Appleton East was ahead.
one seed spot.
You could talk about the 7 seed. You could talk about the 3 seed. In our sectional, I'm telling you right now, in our sectional,
Looking
if
at
you
the
had
whole thing.
coaches, if
All
you
right,
had
so you want to say
coaches,
Nina? All right, who's
where
appealing? Looking at the whole
where
thing.
would Nina and Kakana have been in our sectional if there was coaches? They would not have been where they were. Hortonville
Okay,
would
so
not have been.
Okay, so Superior, so they move up 1 spot. They pass Superior. And if
Who?
people want to screw Eau Claire Memorial because they got injured, great, but their resume was their resume.
You're not winning this one, dude, because Hudson had no wins all year.
They're behind all these teams that you just asked about.
Hudson was above every FVA team not named Nina and Kakana.
You guys want to have your own podcast somewhere else? What the hell's going on right now?
No, this is for
Kellett's
real
still
though. Like,
sad.
don't get me
Kellett's
wrong.
still sad
Hudson
'cause they played
Hudson lost to
against-
DC Everest. DC Everest, we played them this year. We got them by 20 plus. I know Hortonville got them by 30 plus. And
Okay, so DC Everest was 1 spot ahead of Eau Claire North, and Eau Claire North couldn't have appealed that one.
and Everest was 10 and 13 and
Wausau-
got a 10 seed over Hortonville, who was the 14 seed at a 13-10 record and beat Everest. Didn't
Okay,
beat
regardless,
Everest. They
the bigger
demolished
problem-
Everest.
The bigger problem is sectional misbalance because you're upset about the seeds due to FVA teams having to play FVA teams. And
No,
if
I'm
they-
not.
and if
I'm
they were
talking
working
about
on the
Everest
whole
playing teams in the sectional. Like Everest got pounded by everybody in the section.
It's a pointless conversation, Sam. Should change the conversation.
You guys started. You guys take it offline. Put it in your own. Put it on your. Just
I'll
text.
Siebert-
I'll
Siebert brought
forever.
it up. I
Matt
just had to
Bredesen,
chime
Chris
in.
Kellett, you can talk to me about the seeding formula anytime you guys want to.
The first round was the easiest to predict in our sectional in the history of things. That was not all the computer was right. It was mainly the computer was wrong, but it's fine.
Yeah, we did predict all these games.
Super simple. So if the computer has Hortonville as a 14 playing Superior, that's crap because they shouldn't have. Hortonville was freaking 13-10.
We've been saying that the out of state stuff is Superior is unseatable with a computer.
Hudson, DC,
On to the
Everest
next-
should have
on
been
to the
way
next one.
lower.
On to the next one.
We're fine.
All right, let's move
I'm
on.
not wrong with this.
Are we done? Have we picked champion? Well, we've picked the final. We've picked our state. We're gonna do another podcast, by the way, in a couple days. Whoever wants to come on, I think. Sober or not? Are we done? Are we done with this? Are we going to see? Are we going to CGL? Are we going to CGL? Siebert?
Sure.
What? Give
You
the
got
people what they want.
disrespected, we're excited.
You guys suck. You know what? I will say this, Siebert. All right, so we're done. All right, so we picked our picks for the games tomorrow for the boys. Just to give an update, Nina is up 53-49. There's 8 minutes left. Girls, that is. So we've talked in the last podcast, I don't know. See the CGL, the closed gyms league in Milwaukee. The draft was Tuesday night. I want to ask you this, Siebert, because you have, as I've said before, you've self-proclaimed you are the worst player of the GMs. Okay.
That's true. I can
Right.
confirm.
Okay. So, okay. My next question was going to be, is it close? And Ryan just basically said it was not. So, is it is it fair? Is it fair that you are a GM? And why are you a GM?
Good question.
You know what I mean? Like you're
I would
you're
say,
already
I
you're
would
behind the eight ball. Like you are behind the eight ball completely.
I would say revisit that question in 2 months and see which team is not in last place.
Okay, so when you're in last place, we're
I've been a GM a lot of times, and my teams normally do well. Is how I would answer that. But I usually have DePouw, so that's a struggle. This group is definitely a stretch, but there's always, I mean, there's always someone's got to be the worst player. Someone's got to be K2, and someone's got to be the worst player.
I know, but like it'd be seven or GM 7 to 8 might be closer to this than this.
I mean, I'm in the conversation with some of the guys.
Chris is underselling himself, man. This guy is a top 5 scorer in the history of Lawrence University. Guy can shoot the ball.
Whoa! Is that true?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. He can shoot the ball. Kellett can back me up here. He's competitive. He plays hard. He's underselling himself a little bit. He's a smart player.
He just
But-
sucks when you're talking about sectionals and stuff like that. But
Okay.
He don't know squat about like WIA, sectional balance, all this nonsense. Like, dude loves Stoughton more than he loves. I'm just messing.
I'm in the conversation with some of these guys, Sam.
He's good. He's a good player, but
I'm worse than him.
But like, we got Con too. We got Boley. We have it's a high level that we're
A little skewed if you a little unbalanced. Okay, I love this. You are a top 5 scorer at Lawrence history.
Top 5 assists too, and number 1 in turnovers. If you're
are you ahead or behind Jamie Nikitas?
I think I'm behind.
That makes sense.
And DePouw is the lead scored the most points right for the season. He said
DePouw's the leading scorer in the WIA in 2010, 2011.
And he is relegated as a defensive player in this league, apparently. Correct?
Now he's definitely yeah. So yes.
Amazing.
DePouw, senior year of high school. So in the last 2 sessions of CGL, the last 2 full-time sessions of CGL, this is 10 games per session. So you have 20 games in 2 sessions. DePouw has attempted. He had a 0.10.
No. Don't. I want you to ask him. Don't tell him. Ask him if he knows.
So DePouw had a 0.10 rebound, 10 assist game last session. First of all.
Great.
Second of all, DePouw, how many shots do you think you've attempted in the last 2 sessions?
20 games.
I want to say he's been really efficient.
Probably 25.
31.
31 shots in 20 games.
Well, he's missed a lot of the games. But no, he's a dream teammate that he knows
Thank you.
how to play, man.
Apparently not dream enough since he was drafted in the what round was he drafted in?
If he shot more, he'd be drafted earlier.
Oh, I love it.
Goals to win the game. The goals to win the game.
That is
He's
true.
on a good team. He's got for you junkies, DePouw is playing with Riley LaChance and Andrew Brugink, who was an All-American at Wisconsin Lutheran. And David Shepard was a good player at Cedarburg and overseas.
Is Riley's dad coaching though? That's the question.
No, DePouw will be coaching. DePouw will be telling Riley. But no, I like that team. DePouw, I was trying to think of this. Your Fryrood Insurance. Do you remember our mascot names?
Yeah, now or Fryrood. I don't know the mascot. It'll come back to me.
I can't remember either. What's your mascot name, Sam, with the unintentional?
That's a good. I should. Oh, I don't know. I don't have a podcast. Is it a microphone? Maybe it's a microphone.
You could be the Rockets.
I want to be the Rocket. No, it's either a micro. It's either a microphone or a shoe.
I like that. Speaking of which, is JJ Redick ready for Holy Cross?
We're still working on it. We're still working on a replacement. We talked a little bit. Austin was still there. We stayed a little bit later, and we were talking. I don't know. Something came up, and I'm like, Cantu brought up Cooper Flagg, and I go, there's the sub, Cooper Flagg. Bring him in for the second fucking weekend.
Yeah, he'd be great.
And Sherry's like, I'm gonna text his mom right now. I'll call his mom. I can call his mom. I'm sure we can get Cooper there. And I'm like, I think it makes sense. Like, I think it's Cooper Flagg, it's JJ Redick, or it's John Shire. I'm like, does Shire still play? Cantu was like, yeah, Shire still plays. I go, if they're not in the Final Four, bring them in.
It really makes great sense.
It does. It does. I'm glad you're on the same page as me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I'm excited to watch Stone Pewaukee. I'm more excited to watch Stone Pewaukee tomorrow.
What's on the rank the games 1 through 3 at 1 o'clock. So Nina Marshfield's out of it. I think everyone else plays at 1 o'clock for the most part. What's you got 3 TVs. What's the rank what you're watching?
By rank, you mean like most exciting or like
What do you want? Yeah, what do you keep an eye on most? What do you want to watch?
Stoughton Pewaukee, Janesville Craig, Kettle Moraine, De Pere Arrowhead.
Wow. That's your 2.
And De Pere Arrowhead that's the 3 games.
questionable too?
I want you to rank them. So you have De Pere 3rd and Janesville Craig's 2.
Stoughton Pewaukee will be on the TV. Kettle Moraine and Janesville Craig will be on another TV, and I think De Pere and Arrowhead will be on a laptop.
Okay.
West Salem's already on DePouw's hit like, number 1 for sure.
Yeah. Man, you stole my thunder, man. Come on.
Who goes? DePouw, go. What's your top? What's your rank? Your 3.
I'll take this Madison guy, man, trying to carry the sword for the Madison area right now. But I'll take De Pere into Arrowhead number 1. I'll take Pewaukee and Stoughton number 2, and give me West Salem. Let me chuck those threes. Let me knock them down. Let me knock 15, 20 of them down for number 3.
Go.
I'm just watching. Hartford's coach should have called a timeout a while ago before the run happened, but Andy Brunel, he's crazy. At Schwabenon game number 1, just because I think they're gonna give him a bigger game. De Pere Arrowhead, I think, just to see how De Pere reacts to it. Other than that, go down to D2. Pewaukee Stone is probably going to be close.
That was amazing.
Which part? What was amazing? What 3 things were amazing about that? The fact that we couldn't hear him half the time, or
I'm sorry.
I heard Pewaukee.
I'm sorry. I'm watching Andy Brunel acting like he's in the circus, and then I'm watching Hartford up 1, go down 10, and then he finally calls a timeout. Ashwaubenon, Arrowhead, De Pere, and then Pewaukee. Those are the 3 games I want to watch.
I'm laughing at some of these sectional sites. I can't believe that Marquette and Milwaukee Hamilton have to go to Racine Horlick. And
Yeah, I love Horlick.
Marquette and who?
Marquette and Hamilton got to go to Horlick. And
Marquette
and who?
Whack.
Oh, sorry, Marquette and Whack.
Jesus, Siebert.
Wait, dude, the WIA, they got the wrong team on the scores thing.
Come on, really?
Yeah, or Wisports does. Wisports, fix your website.
They would never. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, it does. It does say Milwaukee, Hamilton, and Marquette. Did we do something? Is there a forfeit? Did that change? That's crazy.
Did we have a live discovery of a forfeit?
Wow. I would assume that would be all over Twitter. It says Milwaukee Hamilton against Marquette. At Racine Horlick, yeah.
We sports would never make such a mistake.
No, they would
I
not.
am
They would not.
Mark Miller would never allow it.
That's a large mistake.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm surprised that sectional is not at South Division or take your pick. Pewaukee.
So I'm apparently I'm the only one that cares about Marshfield Nina.
Well, you said that one was out of it. That's the 3 o'clock game, isn't
Oh
it?
shit, that's right. God, my bad. My bad. It's happy hour edition. Happy hour edition. My apologies. I'm gonna go De Pere Arrowhead 1, Stoughton Pewaukee 2. I think Nicolea Schwabenon might be 3.
Yep.
I think that's my 3.
so does Kellett.
Well, Kellett had him 1.
I have him 1 for sure. Coach Tomaszek.
You and Kellett should hang out tomorrow.
If I had as nice of hair as Tomaszek, I'd be happy.
Kelly, you're welcome to come over tomorrow. We're watching. I got some games going on. Norgard's coming over. We're gonna watch. We're gonna have 4 TVs set up. We're gonna have 4 TVs set up here. You, DePouw, Siebert, you want to drive up? Kimberly, you guys are more than welcome to come up too.
That's a
Not
stretch.
opposed. What's
You guys
the,
should come up, DePouw.
Wait, DePouw, are we
what's
driving
the,
up that tonight?
Yeah, but drive up. Carpool.
what kind of chicken wings we got in the Fox Valley?
I'll buy
Ooh.
whatever you want. You guys come up. I'll get you whatever you want. Nothing great. You can bring them if you got good wings down there. Bring the wings up. I'm just telling you, the invite's open for you guys if you want to come up. We could do a live podcast. We could do a live podcast at 3 o'clock during the Marshfield Nina game, recapping the 1 o'clock games after drinking for 3 hours.
Well, Depp's been drinking for like 6 hours today already.
Oh shit!
He was out golfing trying to break 90 or whatever he does.
Say what you want, man.
I respect it.
Oh man! All right, we got anything else? I think we covered everything. Siebert, I think there was something I was asking you, Siebert, but I think I might have covered it.
We're
but I forgot.
at I just wanted to check this just for my own good. Sam, you and I are at different gyms on Wednesday for Holy Cross
You mean for CGL?
or for CGL, yes. And
Guys, shut up.
DePouw, you play right before Sam though. Well, thanks.
I'm not sure I'm gonna make. I got I'm gonna be week to week depending on what games I go to.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Anything else?
DePouw, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Are we staying? Do you guys want to stay on after this? I can end the recording. We can still talk.
For
a little
sure.
bit.
I can tell you the first time I ever met DePouw at a good old AAU practice one time. It's a good story. Reese Zoli broke a freaking Fayed window. Do you remember that, Ryan?
I do recall. I recall. It was good. It was
Yeah, you liked it.
I did. I enjoyed.
Oh God.
End the podcast. End it. It's
Ending
over.
I'm ending it now.